Hi everybody, it's the Mad Mystical Monk here. Todd the Librarian put me in a booktube tag. Thank you, Todd the Librarian. I really appreciate it. So the first question is, which book's trope irritates me the most? America always saves the day. Always. It doesn't matter what's going on, the United States always wins. As an example, I read Robert Conroy's book, I think it was 1942. The Japanese partially invade Alaska. They're just like running all over the Pacific. They've conquered Australia, and yet the United States wins. Another instance would be, even in movies, but we get invaded by aliens, Independence Day, Mars attacks. United States always wins. It's never the Chinese help save the day or the European Union. It's always the United States. That is one of the major tropes that I always find frustrating. Which writers do I feel are overhyped? I'd have to say J.R.R. Tolkien, please don't kill me, and George R.R. Martin. I think it's J.R. Tolkien and George R.R. Martin. I've read The Hobbit, and I've read The Fellowship of the Rings, and then I've read George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones, the first 4 of them. I stopped before A Dance with Dragons because I don't have the time to read a 1,000-page book. I probably will get around to it eventually, though, because his books are detailed. That's the one issue I have with these two writers, is they are so in-depth and detailed about every little thing. And then the mud got stuck between the Hobbit's feet. Okay, then that's cool. Cersei Lannister. Yeah, that's another thing George R.R. Martin I don't like, is the incest things between, not so much, if I remember correctly. Not for me. That also sums up what are the least favorite books you've read. Nah, I'm just joking. The least favorite books I've read would have to be a lot of the tripe that came out of Germany during World War II, or during the Hitler regime. I read Mein Kampf. It just drags on and on and on. Dude, I don't care about... I read it in an effort to try to understand what was going on, but then I realized every historian who studies that has no idea what was going on. Just watch the History Channel. William R. Scheer and Alan Bullock both wrote good books about the fall of the Third Reich and Adolf Hitler. So, all I got from that was that Hitler caught syphilis from a prostitute. A Jewish prostitute. That's all I got, yeah. And he had a small cojones. That's the word. I don't know. What was the book I read with a terrible ending? I can't think of one right offhand, but I know there is one. Book with a terrible ending. Now all my mind's getting is the Bible or not so bad, I guess. A book with a terrible ending would have to be The Genesis of Shannara Chronicles by Terry Brooks. I think that would probably be the books with the worst ending. But then again, humans, elves, everybody survives. But the Shannara books are cool. I like them. I think a couple months ago I was reading A Knight of the Black Staff. So Terry Brooks is good. I like him. He used to be a lawyer. Go figure, right? The devil's in the details. What are some fictional characters I wish were not killed off? Were not killed off, right? trying to think of mobster. I read so much nonfiction now. I'm just trying to think back to some novels I've read. Stephen King, The Mist. That book also had a bad ending. But I'd have to say Stephen King's novella, The Mist, the end was really bad. I wish several characters were not killed off in that book. What are my bookish pet peeves? America always wins. The good guys always win. Because if we know from our own personal history, that is definitely never the case. Or usually the case. Never say never. In every World War II book of alternative history, it always seems to resort to the atomic bomb. Another book, well, I was going to say another good book is The Man in the High Castle. That's a good book, but probably for the wrong reasons. Philip K. Dick was a good writer. I think who wrote it. Is it The Man in the High Castle? Books that need more recognition. I'd have to say anything written by Robert Conroy. I think it's his name. And if you're into the more esoteric kind of stuff, I'd have to say anything written by Ted Andrews or Ellen Cannon Reed, the old guard, the old occult guard. Their stuff's good. They're not as creepy as Aleister Crowley, but their stuff's good. My favorite books by Ted Andrews would be something about the Kabbalah. He wrote a good book about the Kabbalah. And then The Witch, the Goddess in the Tree by Ellen Cannon Reed's good. So I need to check them out. Thoughts on censorship in banned books. When I seen this question, all I could think in my head was back in the 1930s, in the 40s, when the Nazis would just burn huge piles of books at universities because, well, this author was Jewish, or this author was a socialist, or this author was an American, or capitalist, or communist, or you can find any reason to censor a book. I mean, you can make stuff up. I mean, we could ban a book because it led to the assassination of John Lennon, which, I don't know. Excuses, you know. We know what they say about them. Who do I tag? I haven't a clue because I'm just starting out. I would probably tag Lorraine Hammock, and that would be it, and my brother Jeremy McGraw, I think he's on here. I'm sorry, I'm in the process of moving and I'm really tired. Once again, I would like to thank Todd the Librarian for tagging me, and I hope you all have a good night.